Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. We are back with another edition of Fearless Friday, and I'm so excited. We have someone who I've known for a long time. She's a wonderful, wonderful person, Miss Susan Lataille. She has been in the hospitality industry just overall, right, for a long time.
For yes, doing events, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she recently wrote a book, and it's about grief. And I wanted to have her on because I think that a lot of times we talk about success and we talk about strategies to build your business, but I don't think we talk about the mental game enough. And I think that this is a great thing for us to talk about with Susan and to learn what she's learned through this process of writing the book and becoming a pretty successful author, which is awesome. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you, Dana.
Yeah. So I think it's, like I said, I think it's really important to talk about these things because a lot of us go through mental struggles, whether it's grief, whether it's, trauma or something else. So today we're going to talk about that and we're going to learn more about Susan and the book that she wrote and what she's been doing. So without further ado, welcome. Thanks for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Susan and her brother Rick. You guys know WRIK Entertainment. They're very popular here in Rhode Island. I know some of you are not local, but they are a DJ service and they do bingos and trivia and all kinds of fun
Oh
stuff.
my God,
That's
yes.
how, that's how we can. Oh no, we connected through the Chili Festival. I think you were producing or one of the
Oh
festivals
my God, yes.
a
Oh
long time.
geez. That was a long time ago.
Yes. So now life is a little different now. Tell us about it.
Yeah, things are a little different. So last year, I decided that it was time for me to start taking my loss and turning it into something positive to help other people, because people just don't talk about grief.
Yeah.
People don't, I as I say often, is people are just silently grieving. You have no idea what's going on with somebody. You're just expected to put on a happy face, because when you feel sad, other people feel uncomfortable
Mhm.
and they don't know what to do with you.
Right.
Right. So I became a certified master grief coach. And from there, I decided that it was time to put a book out there of real women telling real stories of love and loss. So I have 10 co-authors in this book that
Oh,
all share their grief story from the heart. These are real, authentic, emotional stories. And when I tell people, if they were to ask me, it's like, you have to take this book in bits and pieces, because it's not like a novel that you could just read through. It's very feeling, and it brings up a lot of our emotions as we read them. I still can't read one chapter in there and not cry.
oh man. But I feel like that's also healthy too. I
Yes.
feel like that's sort of like a soul cleansing thing that happens
Yes.
sometimes.
Yeah, it's part
Feels
of the
like
process.
yeah,
Releasing emotion through crying
yeah,
is part of what makes us human,
yeah,
so that we can process. And too many times I hear people apologize for crying. And it's like, no, it's okay. Give
yeah,
yourself permission to cry,
yes,
because it's
yeah,
so healthy and so good for us.
for sure.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you know this, but I lost my dad about a year and a half ago. Um,
Okay, I did not know.
and so I've sort of been going through this process as well. And grief is really weird. I found that, it hits you at random times
Yes.
for random things. I mean, you could be fine. I literally spent a whole year of my life like I could be fine and happy and everything's great. And then in the next minute, I'll
Yeah.
hear something, see something, smell something,
Right.
and I'm a blubbering mess.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
especially I used to live in Cranston near the St. Mary's Feast. I still have my big hair, even though I'm not in Cranston anymore. But we went to the feast, which is always my favorite time of year. It reminds me of being around family. It's near my
Right.
birthday. It's just a real happy time. And we were standing watching the parade, and I was fine through the whole parade. I was laughing. I met someone I hadn't seen in years. Her daughter and my daughter were playing. It was a happy time. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the parade, I looked out, and my dad used to go to church and he'd walk at the end of the parade. And I just instinctively, it was literally, when I tell you it was seconds, I looked just instinctively for my dad to be walking, and I just couldn't control it. It just, this massive like crying just came flowing out of me, and I was like, where did that even come from? And even this year, I was prepared for it. I thought about it. I talked about it. I told people about it, and I still couldn't control it. It's like the grief just comes out of no. It's like a ninja. It just comes out of
Yeah.
nowhere. And
It's a trigger, right? It's a trigger that you have that, triggers a memory. And
yeah,
when you have that memory, you're like, oh, yeah, and it can throw you right back in
yeah,
that, deep place, dark place of grief. And
yes,
you just never know when it's going to hit. It's like a wave.
yeah,
And I talk about it being, it can be just, a little trickle. And at other times it can be a tidal wave or a tsunami. You just
right,
never know. And
right,
then there's everything in between too.
yeah.
So
So
it's so my book is called Shining a Light on Grief because I really want it to be out in the open. I
yeah,
think having conversations like we are having should be the norm,
yeah, for sure.
not suppressing it or not having a few people that you can talk to, which is good.
Yeah,
Although I think it just needs to be normalized,
yeah,
and people are not afraid to approach you if you just lost someone
yeah,
or if they know that you're sad.
yeah.
Sometimes it's just being there and going, I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Sure, for
It
sure.
doesn't mean you have to say the right words or do anything. Sometimes it's just the presence
Yeah,
of being there with that other person so that they feel like they're not alone.
yeah, for sure. So you have 10 co-authors.
Yes.
And so so did you tell your story and then they told their stories as well? And it was like a
Yes.
compilation?
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
how is that, hearing from other people and hearing other
Yeah.
people's
It was.
experiences?
It was about a six month journey from the time we started to the time we finished.
Mm,
And we became such a close-knit group because we met twice a month.
yeah,
We had trainings, we had discussions,
yeah.
and what a journey it was, because as we all went through the journey, we also helped process another layer of our grief,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
because we had to revisit it and we had to think about, okay, what part do I want to share?
Mm,
And it really had to be from the heart. It had to be authentic. It had to be real.
yeah.
It's and they all give examples, and then they also give examples of what they did to take care of themselves,
Yep.
how they were able to continue to quote live,
Yeah.
because we're meant to live.
Yeah.
And I know for me, after the loss of my son, it was just going through motions.
Hmm.
It was just going, okay, this is what I got to do today. I'm just going to do it, and not really put a lot of thought into it because I didn't have the capacity to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so
And that's such seems like it's such a learning process in itself,
it
when
is.
I feel like grief is also, um not to diminish, any grief that you have from the loss of especially a child, but any loved one, but it's also grief of a change in your life, of something that
Yeah.
you used to do that you don't do anymore, something like that, whether it's a
Right.
divorce or, moving to a completely new place or something like that. I feel like grief just hits us in
Yeah.
so many different ways that we sometimes don't even realize.
Yeah. I think it is the grief of the loss of ourselves too,
Yeah,
because we have to rediscover who we are. Because who am I now?
right.
For me, am I still a mother?
Yeah,
Right. When people say, oh, do you have children? How do you answer that?
yeah, yeah,
And it took me a long time to be able to figure out, yes, I am.
yeah,
And yes, I have one son who's passed on and passed, on the other side, however, depending on who I'm talking to,
yeah,
no longer here physically.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we just figure out how to. One of my favorite things that I always say to everybody is, you just got to do what you got to do to survive, right? You've got to
Right.
figure out what it is that you can do or be or think or feel so that you can get through the day, right? And
Yeah.
not just survive but thrive.
Right.
You know, I think
Exactly.
it's important to note that too. And I'm sure that came out in your book as well.
Yeah, and I think in the beginning it is more about just that survival mode
Yeah.
because the hurt is so deep and so unbelievable. It's hard for the mind to comprehend. And you know, you have all the stages of grief and everything else that you may or may not go through and in any order.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're not exclusive. You could go forwards and backwards many times.
Exactly that too. So, and some of them you might just skip over altogether.
Yeah.
So there's just, it's, you don't know what it's like, and you're not meant to unless you have to go through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no way you can prepare for it. There's no way you can, you just don't know until you go through it yourself.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So the book is available online on Amazon. Where can we get it?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. It's available in a paperback as well as an ebook
Awesome.
for those Kindle readers.
Awesome.
And also, I have a website called shiningalightongrief.com if you want an autograph copy.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yes. I want an autographed copy. I'm gonna go buy one. I love it.
And on that page, you can select which author you want to buy it from. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
That's great. So do you guys share? Is this like you all benefit from the project? You all
Yes.
benefit
Yes.
from the sales of the book. So it's really truly a collaborative
Yes.
process here.
Yeah, we'll be doing events together. We did a launch at Stillwater Books in Pawtucket.
Nice.
And we have other events that we'll be selling the book, sharing it, getting it out more into the world.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, talk about turning a coal into a diamond. You guys have really wait, to quote This Is Us, you were given the sourest lemon and you turned it into some lemonade. Talking about things that you can't do without crying. Let's watch that show. So we will
Yeah, it's about helping others. You know, if by somebody reading that book, it just helps them a little bit,
yeah,
then, you know, I did my job.
yeah, for sure. For sure.
Because as much as, you know, we seem individual, we're really all in this together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that you created a community around this too. You
Yeah.
know, I feel like, you know, people write a book for whatever reason, but I love that your reason was, you know, around community and healing and
Yeah.
spreading the word and shining a light, literally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And I'm working to get authors together for a book too.
Nice. That's amazing.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I mean, really, there's probably a lot of people that are carrying around some pretty heavy things with them. So, like you said, if it helps one person, that's amazing.
Right. And not only, you know, the people that are reading it, but it also helped the authors so much by going through it too. So
For sure. So you lost your son. I'm sorry for your loss. And how did that go from that grief process to decide to write a book? Because you were producing events, you were doing all kinds of cool things.
I was doing, you know, I was doing the wellness expo, I was doing the business expo, you know, my brother Rick and I were doing, you know, out of the box networking. And then I was a managing director for a women's connection company called Polka Dot Powerhouse.
Oh, yes.
And like all of that has pretty much ceased. And I think part of it, you know, pandemic had a lot to do with it. It gave me permission to say, okay, what now? What do you want to do now?
Yeah.
Because I knew I didn't want to do events anymore. You know, I was burnt out. Things have changed a lot over the last, you know, 12, 13 years since I did my first event. It's not the same out there.
Yeah.
And attendance is, you know, I found much harder to get people to come through and things like that. But anyway, so I'm like, okay, things have shifted. It's time for me to shift. And I just kept getting this nudge of helping other people. And I'm like, okay, nope, not ready. Playing a few things, you know, I mean, just to keep myself busy.
Yeah.
And then finally last year, I submitted my story to a different anthology book. And from there, I'm like, you know, which it wasn't all about grief. It was all just women going through life and coming out on the other side of it. So so I'm like, from that, I'm like, I would really love to see a book all about grief.
Yeah.
So last September, October, I decided that I was going to do that. Started talking to women that I knew with significant losses.
Oh,
And month or so later, I had 10 authors, and we started meeting at the end of December. We had like a meet and greet, and July 1st or 2nd, it was available on Amazon.
wow. So it's hot off the press, basically.
Hot off the press. Yeah, my timeline worked perfect. Everything flowed really well.
Wow.
I do believe it was all divinely guided, and I'm just listening.
Yeah, I believe
So
that too. You said you were getting nudged. I was like, I wonder who that is.
yeah, exactly. So I'm told that this will be a 10-book series.
Oh, great. Oh, that's
So
amazing.
yeah,
You are just going to create such an amazing community and do so many awesome things through this whole series. I am super excited for you. I
thank you.
love that I love everything about this. I love that it's going to encourage people to open up. I love that it's going to help people heal, even if it's just in a small way. I love that people
Right.
can walk away with something amazing, from the book. And I love that you had the courage to do it because a lot of us probably wouldn't.
It is, yes. It is very vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
Very
For
vulnerable.
sure. For sure. And kudos to you for being able to do that because I know a lot of people, it took some time. I had a friend from high school who was my best friend who passed away. He was only 29 years old, and it took me 5 years just to go to his gravesite.
Yeah.
So sometimes we just can't pull ourselves out of that.
Right. Right.
So I'm so happy that you were able to do something positive and to help others with this, and
Thank you.
make that lemonade out of those sour lemons. That's
That's right.
amazing.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So what else? What else can we expect? More books?
Oh, I have a few products in the works as well that
Yeah.
people will be able to purchase and do on their own. And then I'm also going to be doing some group things. I am scheduled to do some group sessions with Gloria Gemma, the Gloria Gemma Foundation, with some of their families that have lost
Oh, that's
um,
awesome.
mothers, sisters,
Yeah,
daughters to breast cancer.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
You are doing some amazing things,
yeah.
and I for sure will be cheering you on from the sidelines. And I love that you're doing all this. It's so good,
Yeah.
so good. So you guys, we're gonna post comments. Post in the comments. We'll post the website. We'll post where to get the book if you want to read it. And Susan's info if you want to reach out to her. And I wish you all the success. I
Thank
can't
you.
wait. I love that there's going to be more books. I can't wait to read the book. I'm sure I cry at This Is Us, so I'm definitely going to cry for sure.
Yes,
But
have a box of tissues by this side of you.
yes, yes, yes. So we'll post all that. And then, this is a little stray from the norm for us because usually we talk about how to build a business, how to be successful. But I think it was important for us to talk about this today because a lot of us are affected by this and it
Yes.
will affect your business,
Yes.
especially if you're an entrepreneur. You don't get to call yourself and say, hi, I'm sick today. Or hi,
Right.
you don't get sick days, you don't get bereavement days. So um I would say, I usually end with a golden nugget. So um if there's something that you learn that will help, a small business owner or an entrepreneur through writing the book or through going through the process, what would that advice be that you would give to that person? I know it's a tough one. I always save the toughest one for last.
It is a tough one. I think the golden nugget would be that we're all unique, we're all different, we all grieve in our own way, and give yourself permission to do that without judgment.
Yeah, love it. I love it. Show yourself some grace.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Yes.
I know there's been so many times I'm one of those people that cries and says, I'm sorry, I'm crying. So I totally get that. That resonated so much when you said that. I was like, and this year was the first year that, I was sitting at the parade with some of my friends and I was like, just so you know, I'm probably going to cry. I'm probably gonna like lose it a little.
Yeah.
And and that's what happened. And everybody's like just there,
Right.
and I wasn't apologizing. I just let it flow. I was like, well, this is it. It's coming out. I gotta let it out. So
There you
that's
go. Yes.
awesome. So give yourself grace, let it come out, give yourself permission to grieve, do what you have to do to feel better, right? And to
Yeah.
get
To get back to you, to get back to your life, to find those moments of happiness again.
yes, for sure. For sure. Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited for you of where this is going to go. Looking forward to reading the book, looking forward to 9 more editions of the book. I wish you all the success.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad that you were able to make something truly positive. I mean, that's a lesson in itself, right? So, life sometimes hands us coal, and we either just hang out with a lump of coal or we shine it up into a diamond. So just
Right.
that alone is the lesson. So I
Right.
hope if even one person out there watches it and enjoys this, I will feel happy too that I had you on the show. Oh, I feel happy that I had you on the show anyways.
Yes. Yes. And thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you for sharing. And like I said, I'll post those in the comments, and then we'll see everybody next week for another edition. And you guys have a great week. Make it a great long weekend. Hopefully, I know we're all
Yes.
nerds in this group, so hopefully you'll take a day off. Give yourself permission to take a day off on Monday.
Exactly. It's Labor Day after all. You should
Yeah,
not be working on
exactly.
Labor Day.
All right, you guys, we'll see you next week. Bye.